Good morning, you guys. It is Thursday, March 26th. And so if you're catching this later, you should be watching it on YouTube. And our lesson for today is reviewing the 4 different strategies we've learned for representing division. So you have a couple of these questions in your learning opportunities packet. I've also posted a couple different assignments on Seesaw. So if you wanted to go on our Seesaw, the link for that is app.seesaw.me, M-E. And so there is a new assignment on there if you wanted to show me what you know, and you can show these 4 strategies for representing division. So without further ado, we're going to get started. I'm going to share my screen with you so that you can see my whiteboard. So I'm going to do that right now. And now you should be able to see my whiteboard. So I'm going to make that full screen. And I'm going to show you the 4 different strategies. So before I started this recording, the kids that are here with me live came up with the 4 that we've talked about in class before. Those are number line. Let's see if I can move this guy around. There we go. Number line is the first one. Then they also said partitioning. Bear with me. Then they said arrays. And then they said repeated subtraction. So those are the 4 that we're going to talk about this morning. So we're just going to go ahead and get started. And the question that we are going to focus on for all of these is going to be 10 divided by 2. And we're going to figure out what that is. And I know some of you already know, but remember, our goal isn't always just knowing, it's being able to show what we know. So on a number line, let me draw one for you. If I were going to be trying to figure out 10 divided by 2, I remember that I need to label my number line with the greatest number being my biggest number in my in my division problem. So I'm going to label this one on the end of my number line as 10. Oops. That's 11. As 10. And then my smallest one is going to be 0. Now with this number here, my 2, I'm going to label my number line as skips of 2 so that I can easily do my division without having to have a bunch of jumps. So I'm going to go from 0 to 10 by skip counting by 2. So we have 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. And I know mine are not super evenly spaced. I'm still trying to figure out how to navigate this computer tool. So if you were doing this on your own, you would try and make them as evenly spaced as you could to represent 2 between each of those numbers. So with 10 divided by 2, I'm going to start at my 10. And then I'm going to do skips back of 2 until I get to 0. So here's 1 skip, 2 skips, 3 skips, 4 skips, and 5 skips. And so I know 10 divided by 2 is 5 because I skipped back by 2 from 10 all the way to 0, and that took me 5 different skips, and you can see those jumps here. Okay, with partitioning, that means I'm going to take my 10 pieces that I have and partition or evenly divide them one at a time into 2 groups. So I'm going to start by drawing my 2 groups. 1 and 2. And that 2 comes from right up here, this 10 divided by 2. So I have 2 groups, and I'm going to partition one at a time these 10 pieces. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And so in each of my groups, I have 5. So 10 divided by 2 is 5. The third strategy is arrays. So I'm going to take this 10 in my division problem and the 2, and I'm going to do kind of similar to partitioning. I know I'm going to need 10 total pieces, and I'm going to use this 2 as my number of rows. So I'm going to start by doing 2 rows, and then I'm going to place 1 in each row. That's the part that's similar to partitioning until I get to 10. So I have 1 and 2, and I'm going to go 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And so now I have 2 even rows, 10 total pieces, and 5 in each of those rows, which shows me 10 divided by 2 is 5. The last one is repeated subtraction. I'm going to move this guy up so you have some more space. And so with repeated subtraction, I'm going to start with 10, starting with 10, and I'm going to repeatedly subtract 2 over and over again until I get to 0. So 10 minus 2 is 8. 8 minus 2 is 6. 6 minus 2 is 4. 4 minus 2 is 2. See if I can squeeze this one in here. And 2 minus 2 is 0. And so I know that I'm finished now that I've got to 0. Now this one is a little bit tricky because you have to remember where your answer is here. Your answer is not 0. Your answer is the number of times you had to repeatedly subtract 2. So if I count my subtraction problems, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 times that I had to repeatedly subtract 2. So my answer is 5. So 10 divided by 2 is 5. Okay? So I hope that that little review of all 4 of our division strategies helped you. You can go on our Seesaw and show me what you remember. Don't forget to hit the green check when you're done and turn that in. And then I will get an email and send you some feedback when I've reviewed it. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you guys soon.